Hello, I'm David Taylor from Web Design Academy, and in this video I want to talk about generating leads for your web design business. Now, this is obviously a very important aspect of the success of any web design company, and we will be going into this in a lot more detail on the 2-day residential course, but I just want to give you a flavor of some of the areas that in our experience tend to work the best in terms of generating leads, inquiries and sales. So the first one is cold calling. This gets quite a lot of bad press, and people generally don't like cold calling, and people generally think that the recipients of cold calling are going to be pretty negative and pretty upset about you calling them when they haven't asked to be called. But the reality is that cold calling is still a major industry in the UK and a major method of establishing the first point of a relationship, a business relationship with a potential customer. Now, what a lot of people try and do, and you've probably received many yourself, is receiving emails that are sales-based emails. The problem with that, both as a recipient and both as trying to send them out in order to generate some interest, is that they're too easy to ignore and too easy to delete, and people generally just delete them. So in our experience, you're just completely wasting your time if you try and run a kind of email campaign. If you're going to do email marketing, which is another subject that I'll talk about in a separate video, email marketing is really about nurturing relationships with people you already have a relationship with, i.e. customers, former customers, contacts, suppliers, colleagues, things like that. It's not a method to try and generate new business. But cold calling can work. There's a real skill to it. It's something that you have to either learn to do yourself or employ a third party to do, and there are platforms where you can employ somebody with experience of cold calling to do it for you at a relatively small amount of money. And again, this is something I'll go into more on the residential course. You can do it yourself. It does take quite a lot of learning, but there are quite a lot of resources available to show you how to do it correctly, because there is a real skill to it. And cold calling is not just about ringing someone up and saying, would you like a new website? There is a lot more to it than that. So that's cold calling. The second area for generating leads for your web design business is networking. Again, this hasn't been a favorite occupation of mine over the years, but I've seen many businesses talk about it, and I've also seen a lot of web design businesses pick up pretty sizable clients and contracts as a result of meeting people at networking events. So whether you like doing it or not, you've really got to force yourself to get out there to some local networking events. And what I would recommend is that you don't go into those events with the intention of selling your web design services. What you go in is with the intention of firstly understanding the problems that other businesses have in terms of digital marketing, web design, and that whole area of their business development. So understanding their problems is absolutely key to your success. And secondly, helping those businesses to solve those problems. Maybe not all of them, but certainly helping with some of them. So I would go into a networking event, for example, and I would meet a random person, and I would say to them, what's your current experience of marketing online, developing business online? What do you find successful? What do you find frustrating? What isn't working for you? because what you're doing is you're actually not selling them anything, which is threatening. Selling, if you go straight into a sales pitch to them, it's just threatening. But if you go into a conversation where you're asking them questions and they have an opportunity to tell you what's on their mind and what's troubling them, it's far better and far easier to get information, quality information out of them like that. It's also a great way to establish the relationship with them, and they will think that you are being helpful rather than trying to sell them something, and that is a great basis on which to develop a what I call the like, trust and know value of a business relationship. So that's networking. Number 3, putting on a free event. This is something we've done many times. Again, it's about not overtly selling something to people. It's about saying to people, we're going to give you the benefit of our experience and knowledge in this area, completely free of charge and without obligation. And you'll find that will be attractive to businesses if you do it. And as a result, we've had a lot of businesses come to our events, particularly the SEO and Google events, and those events have served several purposes. Number 1, established new contacts. Number 2, got our brand out there and got us known for our expertise in a particular field. And number 3, we have actually picked up some nice contracts and nice work from those free events. Number 4 is SEO and Google. Now, there's no doubt that people go online and they're looking for web designers in their area. So you really do need to work hard, like we have, to get on the first page of Google, either the local search results or the organic search results, or preferably both, for a number of phrases that people are searching for if they're looking for a web design service in your area. In our case, that would be website design Chester, web design Chester, Chester web design, and so on. And it's not a quick process. It takes time to achieve. It's taking us several years to get there. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll have success. And that's certainly a way we have picked up work in the past. And then fifthly, I'll just mention specialization, because this is something you might want to consider as a web designer. There is certainly plenty of firms out there who specialize in particular areas. For example, web design firms that do only e-commerce, or web design firms that specialize only in school websites, or other types of industry sector. And they do that and they market themselves proactively to that specific market niche for a number of reasons. One is that sometimes it's easier to get yourself noticed if you have a specialism. You can show, if there's a big enough market for schools, for example, you can show that you have an intimate knowledge of what schools need in terms of their website, and so on and so forth. So again, specialization is something that's definitely worth considering if you want to be more than just a generic web design and digital marketing company. So there we are, 5 areas that we found definitely work in terms of business development and generating leads and sales. Plenty more to talk about when we meet, hopefully on one of our residential courses, where I'll give you more information, and there'll also be informal break times for us to chat over a coffee about some of these issues. Until then, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.